Oh, there we are. Hello, everybody. We're live. Hi.
Hi, everyone. Welcome.
It's it's the 12th of October today, and I was just asking Jamie about Halloween in the States, and she was just telling me how busy she is.
Yeah. This is, my business oracles of the light. We're usually very busy and booked up this time of year, and considering the circumstances, it's not as busy as it would normally be, but we are still very busy. So I feel like it's like a whole mad whoosh rush of energy that I'm just kind of moving around with. you know.
Yeah, I
So
did. I did wonder when you said you were really busy. I thought, oh, I wonder if that's because they're doing all these readings and stuff. Because I know what a big thing
yeah.
it is in the States. Because people always say, like in the UK and in Denmark, they go, "Oh, Halloween. Well, that's an American thing, isn't it?" And I go, "No, they really celebrate it there, but it comes from the Celtic tradition. This is like
Mm.
our in between times and like Day of the
Yes.
Dead and all that sort of thing. And it goes back. I mean, probably. Wow. I mean, I don't know how long it goes
Yeah.
back.
Oh
It's
yeah, long.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it was actually celebrated over many different places around the world, Samhain, Day of the Dead. There was even that All Souls Night is what I believe the Christian adaptation was, if I'm not mistaken, All Souls Night.
yeah.
And so I mean, it has become incredibly commercialized in the United States. Let's
Yeah.
just be clear. It really has.
Cool.
It has. But
Yeah.
I love how incredibly, and what I was saying to you before we went live, it's like even the most non-magical or spiritual practicing people become incredibly interested in magic at this time, which is just, to me, it just breaks everyone's hearts wide open and has their inner child awaken. And they want the readings this time of year, but also they're feeling, because the veil between the worlds is the thinnest right now, they're feeling the presence of energies around them. And it's really making it possible for even those who don't normally do anything like this to start to sense something spooky. And they want to know what's going on. So they're reaching out to people like me, to my business partners. And, this is when we become incredibly busy. So blessed. We're
Great.
blessed for that. But I love to help. I love to discuss this and educate people on the origins of what I refer to as Samhain. I connect more with the Gaelic, although I have my ancestry comes from Mexico as well, so I do have the whole Day of the Dead connection there as well. So,
And when do they do that?
they actually celebrate that on the 31st and the 1st. Yes, the 1st of
So
November.
the
I'm
same.
sorry, same
Oh,
time.
November. Oh, right.
Yes,
Oh, really? It's the
yes,
same time.
31st and the 1st of November.
That is
More so the
wild.
1st of November, but the celebrations really do start beginning on the 31st of October. So,
Isn't
yeah.
that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Now, what is that film? What is that film? It's like an animated film where they've
Oh,
got the. I love that film.
we were just
That's
talking about it too. Oh, and I've seen it.
someone will write it in the comments.
Yeah, let me share too and let people know that we are live, and then I can pay attention to the comments for everybody.
Yeah, yeah,
And
because there's that one.
welcome.
I really like that one. And then there's one. Someone mentioned it to me earlier, and I went, I don't think they're the same film. Coco.
That's it.
It
Coco
is that one.
is
It
the
is
ad,
that
is
one.
it? There you go.
Oh,
It's
great.
Coco. All
And
right.
you said, "Oh, I was in floods of tears watching it. You must think I'm silly." And I was like, "No, I don't. Not at all. I too was in floods of tears because it is the whole kind of shamanic witch journey about healing and respecting our ancestors, and oh, it's just beautiful. And it's made in a way that kids can get, and it's kind of going into their little unconsciouses, at an early age, and they're not judging. And I just think it will create different generations of children.
Yeah, it was really so good. I did really enjoy it. Actually, what I was thinking about? My daughter and I have a little tradition that throughout as many nights as possible throughout October, we try to do the 31 days of October, which is watch a Halloween special every night together when we can. We don't always do it, but we did last night. And I was thinking, what could we watch tonight that's not so cliche that we haven't watched for a while? I want to watch that one, I think.
Yeah. God, so you must be really busy then, because it's like, so October's really busy, and then there's November, and then it's Christmas, isn't it? Because
And then it's
you have to
Christmas.
start getting ready for Christmas.
That's right. And then we do get really busy. We do get really busy in December too, because people are wanting to have, well, the oracles are pretty, we're a little naughty in that regard, because we put out a lot of specials pertaining to the season. So, like, for example, during December, we have our infamous reading, which is called The Fates of Past, Present, and Future. And so that's a really popular reading, but I also do an annual reading for the coming year. And I have 2021 reading that I'll be putting out, and that gets booked up like as far back as the beginning of November, and I get booked out through January with that. So this is like the whole season of magic. So I'm not complaining. I am not complaining. I will take it. I just need to learn how to find my balance a little better.
Yeah. I understand that. But at least it takes your mind off like the days getting darker.
Oh, it does. I have to find something, because I love fall. It's my favorite time of year. But I do have a difficult time with all of the darkness, like just the lack of sunlight.
I'm just writing down blue sky lamp, because I have to get it out of the cupboard to remember to start using it. It's one of those, like, it sort of wakes your brain up lights.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. You get these ones to stop you getting like seasonal affective depression disorder.
Wow.
It's one of those ones. Don't you know? Don't you have them?
I mean, we probably do, but I've just never heard of it. So
a lot of people use them over here.
Maybe I need one.
I mean, so, especially in the UK, and like Denmark's even worse. It's really grey and dismal in the winter, and we don't see. If you see a blue sky, you're really lucky. And I find that I have to start using it now. I should have really started.
Non-magical. I'm so sorry. I put us on live, and I tried to get the volume.
Because if I leave it until December, suddenly I can just get hit really, really badly by sort of dark thoughts. And so it's like 20 minutes a day, you put it on, and it like goes, and I can actually feel it in my brain. It's like I can't use it in the evening, because then I'm like too like this. It actually gives you a shot of, your brain responds and produces these chemicals, and so they really work.
Wow. But, I wonder if that would work the same if you used the, because my partner Karen is all about, she is a sound therapist, and so that trickles into me. So I wonder if that would work the same as if you worked with the frequency of the sun, the planetary frequency of the sun. I would love to try that out and see.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But I'm also going to look into that light as well and see.
Yeah. I can't remember what they're called, but if you put SAD light box in or something like that, they got a name, but my memory.
Yeah. I see we have quite a few people tuning in on this end. So Meredith, Carmela, welcome. Let's see. Meredith is saying, Laura as well. Welcome. I see that Meredith said you only need about 30 to 60 minutes a day. She has a sun therapy lamp.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So would that be the same?
I only do 20 minutes, and that's enough for me. But then I am really sensitive, and I can easily go a bit high.
Okay.
I'm a bit.
You need a balance. Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Thank you for sharing that, Meredith. I actually might hit you up and find out which one you're using as well, so I can get that. Hi, Kimberly. She says, funny enough, fall is my favorite season, but I miss the sun when it's gloomy too often. But then again, being in Southern California, we get blessed with lots of blue days, even in the fall and winter. Oh, lucky you.
Yeah. I'm going to come and retire there.
Yeah. Do a visit to Mount Shasta.
Oh, I'd love.
I have to get back there as well.
Yeah. So talking about traveling, I've been watching some of Tor's stuff. So this is Tor, Tor. That's his first name, and he does tours in Glastonbury, and he has a website, tours of Glastonbury, but he has moved online and he's doing these virtual tours. And he did one in London a while ago, but they're all on recordings now, so you can watch them back. And I watched the London one because I was supposed to be coming to the UK next week and seeing my eldest son, who's just turned 18, and I haven't been there since last year. And I was like, oh. So Saturday, I sat and watched the one on London, and honest to God, like afterwards, I was going around the house, I kept thinking I'd been to England. It was like, because I kept seeing the pictures in my brain, and I had this feeling like I'd been there.
Like you'd just been there.
Yeah, and also the next day we had someone come round to see us, the first person we've had in our house since COVID started. And I almost said to him, oh yeah, I was in the UK, I was in London yesterday. And I was thinking, getting really confused, because like obviously when I lived there, I would just go into London for the day. So like in my brain, that's normal. And it was like, oh, it was wild.
That is amazing. Yeah, I think it's incredible what's happening. Like, well, first of all, you know, tours are just, you know, they're amazing. I talk about it all the time. And, you know, obviously travel with him when COVID allows. We will be back to doing that again next summer, hopefully. But I also signed up for the London tour because, you know, I've been to the UK quite a few times now, but I don't ever get to spend time in London. So I wanted to see what he had to say about some of the history from, you know, going way back to, you know, the tour that was there at the Tower. I only got about halfway through it, so I have to go back and finish watching the rest. But yeah.
I didn't know any of that. I mean, to me, London is like a place like, it's got its glamour, but it's like got too many people. And so to hear there was a spiritual side to London, but that bit he was talking about in the sense of the city of London, I do remember standing there because there's this bit where the law courts are and you get all the barristers' offices, and standing there and going, there's a bit of a thing with the energy here. And that was years ago. And then he was saying about what it used to be, and I was like, oh, well, no wonder. That was so interesting. But no, I'm really looking forward to the Glastonbury ones that he's doing.
Yeah. And I love, that's what I was talking to him. I just did an interview with him too, as well as you did an interview with him not that long ago. And the interview, we got to talking about the ancient magic of Avalon, that is modern day Glastonbury. And when I've done the tours with him before, I said to him, like, you may have talked about this, but I do not recall us ever discussing the individual chakras, which is what he's talking about now, the individual chakras that are also within Glastonbury itself. And he takes you through those. And I think he's going to be doing one chakra per video throughout the tour. Yeah. I don't think he's going to do all chakras in one video.
No, but I think it might be one or two.
Okay. And it was funny because while I was there on the tour, not just in Glastonbury, because we also go to Cornwall and St. Nectan's Glen, but every place that I was at, I could feel a different chakra actually being like it was triggering a different chakra within me. And I thought that was really fascinating because we didn't talk about that, but I felt it. And so he talks all about the significance of that, how the ancient Aborigine people actually there was very shamanic connection there to the earth and the individual chakras, as well as the land chakras, the earth chakras. It's, you know, there's more than just, you know, what we, I guess, perceive in the beginning with just the earth chakras, but fascinating stuff.
It is, that's it. And he's got so many stories to tell. He's got so much stuff in his brain, and it's amazing. And it's just absolutely brilliant for me because like I can access this all online. Yeah. Now, putting together lots of bits because like I've gone to places and I've experienced things, and then I'm listening to him say this, and this, and it's like suddenly it's all making sense. Yeah, it all brings it together. So. But like I was saying, like if people want to go back and watch, you don't have to do it live. They're all recordings as well. So you can go on his website. He's got virtual tours and you can look on there and you can go back and watch the recording. So
yeah, I love that he's doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny that
Yeah.
you, and I love that you, it's funny that you said, because it's clearly that these virtual tours are so much more than just a virtual tour that you're watching. Yeah, you're getting filled with amazing information, because I call Tor a wisdom keeper, because he really is. He's, like you said, he's got so much in his brain. He's incredible,
Yeah.
and I could listen to him all day long, and I love what he talks about. But it's more than the virtual tour that's happening. It's like you said, I woke up today thinking I had just been in London yesterday, and I wasn't. But you were. But you
Yeah. Yeah.
were, because it's an energetic thing
Exactly.
that you were. It doesn't matter when
I
you
was
watch that back.
there.
You were actually
Yes.
there. You
Yeah.
connected energetically across space and time. So that is one
Absolutely.
thing, that I will say and promote for him, is that you're actually energetically getting linked in by connecting with him.
Yeah. Yeah. It must really wear him out. He must be tired after that. It's like,
I'll tell you, he's got some.
yeah.
I know he's got some special shoes. Maybe they're magic energy, any energizing shoes as well. Because I don't. He's like the Energizer Bunny. He's just. I don't know how he does it.
Oh, but I'll have to interview him again at some time, because when he was doing the London tour, he was talking about his mum being Danish.
Hmm.
And I thought, I didn't know that. We could have a whole other
Oh
conversation.
yeah, I must have missed that. But yeah.
Yeah, because I've heard him mention like he's spent time in Denmark and like, but I didn't realise he was actually half Danish.
Wow. Oh, you learn something new, don't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Really
yeah.
fascinating. Yeah, and I know he's got strong connections. For a while, he was trying to actually initiate tours in Iceland as well. And I don't think, that things kind of got put on hold, especially with COVID or whatnot. But, he's got a strong connection to Iceland,
Yeah.
Scandinavia, all of that. We talk about that a lot. But
And he's called Thor, which is Thor. This is Scandinavian for Thor. So it's like,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's right. And he does tours in Ireland and Scotland, and so hopefully he'll be doing those virtual soon too. Hopefully,
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah.
Everything with travel is kind of wonky right now.
In the UK, it's a bit. I think there's 4 destinations that they're not advising you that it's okay to go to. Everywhere else, they're not advising you to go, and then you have to quarantine and blah
Yeah,
blah blah
I
blah
know,
blah.
I know.
So yeah.
But
So, we got any comments from anybody saying
yeah, so
anything?
we've got hi Tammy, and Stacy just popped in. Let me catch back up. Meredith shared links to the lamps, so thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, so they're talking back and forth about the lamp right now. So maybe we talk a little bit about the energy and what people, because you and I were talking about the energy before we actually started today, and you were feeling really. You said you've been sleeping a lot today.
I've been sleeping a lot today, and for the last 2 weeks, it's like every morning, sort of for the last week, I've woke because I have to get up really early because Benji starts school really early, and then I've been like saying to myself, I need to have a bit more rest, and I've been listening to Eckhart Tolle. I've got this 8-hour thing of retreat that he did, and every day I try and listen to a bit and then fall straight asleep.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So actually, I've been sleeping to Eckhart Tolle every day.
Wow, aren't you fancy? That's funny. No, yeah, the energy has been really interesting. And I'm going to talk more about this later this evening on Moon Day. Magical Me, I do at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But so I won't go too much into it. But Mercury goes into retrograde tomorrow. So we're feeling it. We've been in the shadow, so it's like we're feeling that like redirect that's happening. But not only that, we've got a lot of stuff that's been going on lately first of all, we talked about Samhain and the veil between the worlds. This is the time where it was to the Celts. It was the end. It was the ending of their year. And the 31st, Samhain, was actually celebrated as the Celtic New Year. So it's a time where we are actually ending. We are getting ready to, this is the great pause that we're entering now, where it's all about being still, which apparently I don't listen very well because I haven't been able to just be still, though I'm trying. It is about going to the stillness. So the sleeping is really actually a very big part of that, because whether you are literally sleeping or metaphorically sleeping, this is a really powerful time for us all to actually begin to, we're starting to shed those layers. It's like the metaphoric death. It's the endings, shedding the layers of things that just don't serve us. But then we're also being prepared to enter into the chrysalis now, and that's that void space that we go into, the pause for a couple of months before we go for that rebirth energy. So this is a really good time to start thinking about what you want to let go of. What have you been giving all of your energy and power away to, sometimes it's very, I actually will say I pulled the vampire card this morning. And so, vampires represent the stealing or giving away of your life force energy. So, or draining of your life force energy. So it's also vampires that, you talk a lot about when people say, they think about vampires like, ooh, vampires are so magical. They're so alluring. That was part of the lore with them, is they were incredibly seductive in that regard, that, they kind of lured you to your demise, if you will. But with that symbolism, it's about what is it that's very tempting, seducing, that you constantly are being drawn back into, that's taking away your life force energy. So this is a really great time to start thinking about that, because we want to shed as many layers as possible, because we are really, really preparing to end not just this cycle, major cycles. As of, I think 10/10 started the portals. We'll have another one, 11/11. I think there will be another one, 12/12, but the culmination will be 12/21, which is Yule, the solstice. So we will be getting ready to rebirth around that time. So really fascinating period that we're in.
It is. And I can really feel it. And so, we've been talking about, I'm doing this Sarah's Flame Zoom call, and at the end of October. And this is a thing where we're working energetically with Sarah's Flame Temple in Glastonbury in the UK. And it is the last bit that we're doing with the violet flame, so that this new energy can come in next year. And it's just, and I, did it because it was the full moon as well, but also because it's that in between time, and it's an ending, it's a death. There's a death thing going on with it as well. So I'm really excited about that. And I've had loads of bits and pieces coming in from that. And so I've been doing these videos on Friday talking about it, what's it for, what it's about. Someone tuned in while I was doing one of the lives and wrote to me and said, I'm in Glastonbury now. Do you want me to go there?
Wow.
And go there. And she was like, do you want me to get you something? And I said, yeah. You could pick me up a bit of wood or a stone or a leaf or something like that. And she did. And she posted it to me.
Wow.
I got it on Sunday, and I've just been sitting around tuning in to the energy of that. But isn't that, and that's how it all happened last year with the first activation. Things just happened like that. And it was just I didn't have to do anything. And it's just it so wants to happen. It's just working through people. So I am excited about doing that, but it's really taken over my energy at the moment. And the classes that I'm teaching, the Sarah healing stuff, and that is it's really profound. I mean,
I imagine. Wow. And that it also, like I said before, it explains a lot about you, sleeping right now, because it's you're doing the work and then you have to integrate, and just allow yourself to rest and recharge. And then you can put out the work, because it is a lot. It's new energy, new energy, and it's intense.
Yeah.
I mean, we are birthing a planet.
It's new energy at this level of density. And that's why I've been going running, because I'm going running every 2 or 3 days now. And it's because to physically hold it, because although it's like spiritual energies, you're holding it in your physical body as well. To actually cope with that, I have to like get a bit stronger, because I've never been that strong. You know, I've always been a bit sort of like that. And it's like, and I'm actually building up muscle in my legs now.
Good for you.
I've sort of be able to, you know, cope with it all. And but yeah, then I need to sleep a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And I was saying probably the last week, in the evening before bedtime, I start suddenly getting a lot of like achiness and crampiness going on in my lower back, where your sacral chakra is, and in the front area in my actual womb, where it would be it's I can compare it to at times labor. The crampiness and almost like feeling like the contractions like labor. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm not due for my moon cycle, you know, so it doesn't make any sense that I'm not even near. So I started, when I tuned in, I heard it is labor. It's labor pains, because you are physically feeling the energetic birthing of the new energy, the new earth energy coming in. So then I think the next day or 2 days later, I happen to be on Facebook, and there's this beautiful woman that I follow. Her name is, the name of the page is Isis Channelings. And every single time I see her, I don't go looking for her stuff. It pops up. And every time it pops up, it is completely in resonance with what I'm going through or experiencing. She just so happens to post about the Egyptian goddess Bast and the Egyptian god Anubis, and how together they are bringing in this energy, helping to, and you know, Anubis is the god of the underworld. So that's right in alignment with where we are. When you're bringing something in through birth that's coming from the void, if you will, it is coming. It's coming through the void of creation into manifest reality. But she talked about how there were womb priestesses that are incarnated today who are birthing the earth literally. So I had been feeling, you know, and I'm like, haha, that is it. That makes perfect sense. And that comes up a lot in my cards, but you don't, it's like you said, you don't realize that your physical vessel is also holding this energy and facilitating it to be manifest into reality.
Yeah, and that's it, and that's what I love about like the Old Norse cosmology and traditions is like, you know, I keep banging on about this, but they saw the physical body as part of the soul. It is like, and it's so sort of far removed from this Christian, because although we're not necessarily Christians, we still have that in our like subconscious, and this split between the soul and the body. Whereas in the Norse, the Old Norse, it wasn't. It was the same. It was the same thing. But going back to the Norse thing, so I've been having a bit of a mad podcasting month, because I did that interview with Tor, and then me and Chloe did an interview. I haven't put it out yet, and we talked for over 2 hours.
Wow.
And her kids were coming in and out. Meanwhile, because like for me, we started at 10:30 at night, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning for her, because she and it's spring there. It's like, get my head around that one. So I've had to edit that a bit. And then I've done an interview with Imelda, my teacher, Imelda Almqvist. Yeah, and I'm going to put that out tomorrow, because she's got a new book coming out that sounds absolutely great. But she's just amazing. Yeah. She's just amazing. I have to listen to that interview, because Imelda, she's just one of these people that just everything she says. I mean, if I said it to her, she'd say, "Oh God, you know, don't put that on me." But it's true. Everything she says, it's just wise. Wow. You know, she's just one of those people. And although I was nervous to talk to her, because she's quite a strict teacher. She's one of those teachers you're like, I don't know if you remember this from school, but like some of them you just couldn't be bothered. And then there'd be a strict teacher, and you would like, okay, you didn't want to upset them, you know. And but you actually feel like you want to produce stuff for them. She's like that. Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed doing the interview, and like we didn't even get to talk about the runes, but there was lots of women's stuff in there about reclaiming the witch words, and it's got me into all that again.
Oh, I love that. That sounds right up my alley. Yeah, I would love to hear that when you put them out. And actually, when you put them both out, because Chloe is rather fascinating as well. I love her. Her energy is just absolutely beautiful.
That you're going to really, really love. Lots of Sarah stuff in there, and some real little nuggets in there that you're just going to go, ah!
Oh, good. Well, be excited to hear it when it comes out.
It's so funny though, because I haven't done a podcast for, I don't know, I think I did one in the previous 12 months, and then I'm coming out with 4 now.
You got to make up for lost time. Yeah, that's wonderful. Let's see. We do have some more comments. We have Kimberly, Tammy says, I have been drained for 2 weeks. Oh, and I chose the vampire reading. Oh, okay. So the Oracles of the Light, one of the fun things that we do is something called reading roulette. And we actually have what we call the Wheel of Fate. And we went live last Friday or Thursday, and we spun the wheel. And anybody who signed up to participate, they got to choose a reading. And one of the readings on the wheel was vampire, which essentially is a reading that helps you understand what it is that's currently draining your life force energy. And we're going to be bringing that back probably the 22nd, if I'm not mistaken, hopefully. But yeah, so she chose that, and she said she's been feeling drained for the past 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, what was the 29th? I just saw the 29th of September pop into my head. Was that the new moon? No. Full moon was the 1st. Okay. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I know it's just 2 weeks with me as well. So, there's
something
a thing
going on.
There's a thing.
Absolutely. And I do think that even though I know it's like 1010 is the actual like gateway that opened, I do think something started and was initiated on the full moon on the 1st. And then it's actually going full moon to full moon. So it's like, divinely aligned that we're having 2 full moons in 1 month. So it's like full moons represent the completion of a cycle to begin with, as well as the empowerment and manifest something, So it's like that 1st of the month going to the 31st, which is the Celtic ending of the year. There's something really being like facilitated, so that sleeping and tired energy, just go with that, everybody. Allow that. Let that happen.
My husband saw this as well. Jamie said, no. So I'm not just being lazy.
It's time for bed. Go to sleep.
Yeah, but on that full moon on the 1st, I was sitting there, and I suddenly got this burst of inspiration to ask Imelda about doing an interview. And she's, because I've been doing stuff with her, I don't know, for at least 2 years. It's never occurred to me to ask her before, and it was like bam, suddenly there, and I thought, this is this full moon energy. Something's just like shot into my brain, and it was like, and I was astounded. I think, what? How come that's never even? It's because I was too scared, probably, to ask her. Never to even ask her, and yet she's such an. That's what I love about the podcasting, is you get to like hear stuff from people you're really interested in. It's like, what could be better?
Yeah, I think I love that too, and it gives other people the opportunity to connect with the work, the energy of those people that are not even anywhere remotely, close to them, that would have no way of coming into contact with them, sharing the magic that they are creating here. So I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, and I can't wait to hear your interview with Tor as well. That sounds great.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was we completely kind of just like winged it, and it completely went into a direction that was like, whoa. So it was really fascinating information. It is up already for those of you who are interested in seeing it. If you want to see it, you can find it on my YouTube channel, which is just Jamie Mendez or Magical May. But also I don't know how far down it is. I can share it again today just so that it's easier to find. I'll share it again on Magical May and on Cosmic Heart.
Yeah, on the page, because I want to have a listen to that, because I'm really into Glastonbury and Avalon. I'm really in the energies at the moment. Yep. So
and he does. He really sheds some light on the magic of Avalon, and what it even I should say triggered for what we refer to as the Holy Family. Joseph of Arimathea, Mary Magdalene, and yeah, fascinating stuff. So yeah, check it out, everybody.
And I love it because I've had so many experiences there. But I did I had my priestess initiations there, and so I've thought of it more as sort of in the old religion, even though I've worked with Mary Magdalene and things around there. In my head it was still more that, and then listening to Tor talk about it in the Holy Family thing, I was just like, how did I miss all this? And obviously it was because I wasn't supposed to get it until now, because suddenly all these things are coming into place because I'm doing this call at the end of October. But to me it's suddenly like I didn't even know I was putting this puzzle together, and it suddenly appeared almost finished in front of me. So my brain has been like flipping backwards and forwards a bit, going, didn't know
Yeah,
this.
I know it is. It's just amazing how all of the pieces just really come together, and the stuff that we've been working on, not only just this lifetime, what we've been working on probably in many lifetimes, working up to this point, this amazing, incredible point, because there's conflict. And that's another thing we talk about actually on the interview, Christ consciousness versus crisis consciousness, which are one in the same.
Okay.
So we're going through these necessary crisis consciousness, but it's such a beautiful experience that we're having, because through crisis comes love and oneness. So yeah, we talk all about that in the interview, and it couldn't be more spot on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I love listening to Eckhart Tolle talk about it, because that's what he says. He's like, this is, people only wake up when things get like this. So there's this opportunity at the moment for so many people to awaken. And he's like, and this is such a good opportunity for all of you to really practice your stuff, and it's like, and just listening to him, I just go, I just calm right down. And he's so funny. He's got such a little gnome face, and he makes these jokes, and he laughs, and I just go into a different place when I'm listening to him. But I have to admit, I have stopped stressing about it all. When it all started happening in March and April, I was at a certain level of and now I don't know if familiarity breeds contempt. I just can't get there now.
I know. Like, and I never want to sound like I'm making light of it, because there are so many people who have been affected, who have lost their lives, family members lost their lives. I'm not making light of it, and neither is Rachel. We just want everybody to understand that. However, nothing good comes from fear and panic, and we just create more of those circumstances. So understanding that there is always another layer of a situation. There's always something. With negative comes a positive. It's just the nature of the beast. It always will be. So the higher layer, or the more positive aspect, is the big picture symbolism, which is, like Rachel just said, through these times of, conflict, of crisis, it's what is necessary. It's that alchemical trigger that's needed to kind of pop us into seeing a bigger perspective. It's pushing us to look higher. And so it is about really, I find myself just like you, I'm not in panic over it. And I sometimes, believe it or not, I sometimes actually forget that we're going through this. And I have to remind myself, like, oh no, wait a minute, there's all these rules and regulations. You can't do this, and it's a blessing, but it's also important to have one foot here, one foot there. So yes, be aware, be mindful, but please unplug from the chaos of the politics that are going on, the chaos on the news. Not everything is there that meets the eye, is I should say, not everything is what we're also being told is truth. But at the same time, you cannot affect change in a positive way if you yourself are being influenced by that whole chaos and conflict. So trying to maintain your peace, your balance as best as possible, in the world, not of it, is what I like to say.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true, Jamie. And yeah, because I wrote to you last week and someone told me off in a shop because I wasn't keeping the outstand distance, the distance you're supposed to keep, because I was in the middle of a conversation with Thomas and we were talking about Benji. And so I don't think I've talked about this on here, but Benji got an autism diagnosis, I think last month, or not that long ago. And so there's these sort of all new things that we're sort of coming to terms with and learning about and finding out about. So we sort of, I mean, it's not a crisis, but we have our own thing that we're dealing with, that's very personal to us. And so I was in the middle of that, and I wasn't thinking about, she was a bit elderly as well. And, this shop woman really told me, and, I sort of stood back, but it was like, it's all completely gone from my brain. I had like completely, but it also, because like here, we're not wearing masks in shops.
Okay.
So there's nothing sort of around to remind me that things aren't like
we have to
normal.
wear the masks and do the distancing, which is like,
Yeah, I mean the infection rate's been really high here, so you kind of think
would be wearing.
Perhaps it wouldn't have been a bad idea. In fact, I went into one supermarket and it was so busy. I put a mask on, and then I could see everybody was sort of jumping every time they saw me because I was making them feel uncomfortable. And I just thought, well, otherwise I'm going to be going around trying not to breathe. And it's because me and Thomas, so like it takes two of us to look after Benji. If one of us gets sick or both of us get sick, he can actually end up in care. So it's it's sort of like, it's not a normal situation, for us, as like no one wants to get ill ever, because like I do know, some people who are very sort of like, they don't, well, if I get it and all the rest of it, but they are sort of the people that only perhaps have themselves to worry about. If I was single, or my kids were grown up, I might feel like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that this is the time of the year for the season change, the dampness, the cooler weather, the cooler nights, and we're having amazingly warm days. We're actually having an Indian summer. So we're having amazingly warm days, but in the evenings it drops down pretty cool again, and then we wake up to dampness, And so lots of people, this is the time they're getting their annual sinus and allergy things going on. And it's like, my own son, my own husband, my daughter, all of them had like the nasal post nasal stuff and the head congestion and stuff like that. But of course you got to go through these lists of symptoms that you have, and if you have these symptoms, you have to immediately go get a test, They didn't have those symptoms, but it's just like, God forbid you go to work. If you sneeze in front of somebody, they're going to send you, if you, God forbid you cough because of the post-nasal drip that's happening, they're going to send you out for a test, and they make us whole house get quarantined. And it's just like, we have to maintain sight of, we just have to remember to maintain sight that not every single thing is COVID. Obviously use your your instincts and your brain when it comes to fevers and things like that. But it's just, it is complete madness. And it's important for us to not go into that place, to not manifest, because people, we can manifest illness. So we are that powerful. We can manifest illness. So, just everybody just come back down to center, try to disconnect from the conflict, from the chaos, just use common sense. And that's the best thing that you can do. And, we're shifting big time, and we're going to go through this fast forward portal, by the end of 2020. So, I've got high hopes for 2021. I do. Yeah. And it's funny enough, Glastonbury conversation came up again because, so most of you already know, I do spiritual trips with Tor Webster once a year for the last few years. And I was scheduled to go this past summer, couldn't go because of COVID. So the conversation has already come up with booking out and securing dates for 2021. So I'm like, whoa, this is happening. I didn't initiate it, but it's making me feel like something incredible is coming for all of us, because the way that the universe works out divinely, and it always so happens that when something comes up like that, we're kind of getting the push to confirm dates already for next year. So with that happening, there's a chance that things will not be okay, but there's also a chance that things will. And that's what I'm going to hold on to.
Yeah, because I can't remember if I told you this, but I had a funny thing come over me. Probably not, because we haven't spoken for a while. But I had a funny thing come over me a couple of weeks ago. Imelda was sending out, so we've been doing our training with her out in Sweden, and people travel from Canada and the UK and Germany and Denmark, and that's me going from Denmark. And you know, we had to cancel all of this year's, and you know, we've rescheduled for next year. And but she was, so we're doing stuff online at the moment, and she'd said, you know, so that day I'd been reading her emails. And then when I went to bed that night, you know, the moment where you're going into sleep, I think, is it hypnagogic or some word like that? But, you know, when you can have those sort of waking experiences, I had one of those, and I was in her classroom in Sweden, and it's an old building. It's an old Swedish farmhouse collection of like different buildings. And we were in the classroom, and I could smell it. And the people were around me, and from my course, and it felt like next year. So I told her, and I'm like, you know, obviously I don't know if this is real, but usually when I have these physical, like actually physical things, they're right, but you know, time and psychic things is a bit,
it's
you
always,
know,
it makes a liar out of you sometimes, because time doesn't exist in the other realms. You know, they have that luxury. So, but you're right. You are right. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when it is, but
it felt soon.
I reckon I have high hopes for next year. So I don't think it'll all be over, but I think things will have moved on enough, and we'll have found enough things that people can travel again with care and caution. And I don't think it will ever maybe go back to how it was. No, there's always,
you know,
change. And I think that the design of it is really to facilitate shifting and changing in the way that we were doing things. There were many, many things that were wrong about the way that we live in the world. You know, and I won't go into all of that right now. That's a whole other show. But
that'll be a 2-hour podcast.
Another show. But you know, that's the higher layer of this, is that it is facilitating great shift in consciousness and change, to help us move to doing things that are more considerate, more humane, you know. And I was actually reading something yesterday, an article that said about, because I was looking into the travel situations, because I haven't looked into anything, I don't know. And I was looking into that, and it did say that there were quite a few countries that are actually posing, like to kind of put something, you know, like a proposition on the table to try to discuss travel conditions for even people coming from, because they were saying, you know, like there's a lot of tourism happening, even in Glastonbury. Now there is tourism happening, but only certain countries. And they were saying that they were actually feeling the hit from the United States not being allowed to travel to the UK, to Europe, period. And they were saying that, so there's some other countries that are now wanting to put something on the table that are trying to propose safe travel precautions. So whether it be you get tested prior to traveling, and then get tested upon return, you know, that there are things that can be done, and no one's looking at this right now. And so they were saying that
they're talking about it in the UK. They are talking about it because they are also losing a lot of tourism and money.
And it's very sad, so, because, you know, some of these people, you know, unfortunately, their businesses may not be able to be sustained because of this, especially, you know, God forbid we should make everything strict again. So, you know, hopefully that, considering I read, again, there's no coincidences. Every single thing that happens there's a symbolism behind it. So the fact I was guided to read that article, you know, maybe this will be the situation for next year.
I hope so. And, you know, I can sort of, like, with my little experience there, I can sort of add some extra feeling of hopefulness onto it. Because, like, even now thinking about it, I can feel myself in Sweden next year. Wow. I can just feel myself being there. Of course, you know, could be wishful thinking.
No, and that's the beauty about it right now, especially with the period that we're in, is that we are meant to be focusing on what we want to create too, even though we're not creating it fully in the physical yet, because we're in that pause. that doesn't mean that we are not supposed to start the prep work. And so one of the cards that I actually pulled for myself today as well was emergence, which is all about what's coming up. And I have the card right here. So it says it all, you know? So it is about, remember, we're coming up out of this. That's what this card symbolizes. We are coming up out of what we've been going through on an individual level, cycle-wise, karmic-wise, and also that includes collectively. So think about what you want your new reality to look like. And that's important.
Yeah. And that's what Imelda's new book is about, actually. And I can't wait to look at it, because her stuff, it's never saying what everybody else is saying. Her work is so original and so fascinating, and it's just like you just get something completely different from it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to read that.
So yeah, everybody, let's try to focus. If you take one thing away from today's conversation, focus on what is within your power to create, even if it seems completely unrealistic. Dreams and what is first in spirit, in the ether realms, which also is your mental body, can then be created physically and become manifest in your physical reality. So yeah,
that's it. We're dreaming the world into being. I love that phrase. That's Alberto Bellodo. We're dreaming the world into being. So that podcast, I'll put it on there tomorrow. I'll put it around on Facebook, but also it'll be on my website. That's rachelgoodwin.dk. And then, there's a podcast thing on there, and I'll add it on.
Well, I look forward to listening. And tours as well. If you could share tours again.
Tours is on there. Yeah, and Chloe's one. I think I'm just going to have it all on there. So, because I know Imelda there'll be a lot of people. She's got a big mailing list, and I want to make sure that, people get to see all of them, so I don't miss any of the traffic.
And she sounds like a very fascinating woman, and would love to hear what she has to say.
Yeah. She's an original. She really is. You don't find many like her.
Yeah. So we have some comments again. If you want to, should we look over them?
Okay.
All right. Oh, hello, Annetta. Welcome, Annetta from Denmark, tuning in. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Net.
Hi, Liz. Welcome. Okay, let's scroll up here, see what we missed. Oh, Meredith loves the connection, she said. And then Tammy says, this is the first time I've actually caught this chat, and I really enjoyed listening. I got a lot out of your conversation. Have a great rest of your day. I will catch the replay of what I missed. Oh, thank you, Tammy. That's beautiful. I'm so happy that you were able to make it. Yeah. Oh. And we do have quite a few more.
I mean, do have. I mean, I love that we can have this conversation, and it's normal, because to us it is, and there's lots of people like us, but we don't get to maybe go outside our doors and feel normal. And this is another one of the things that I'm going through at the moment. It's that whole witch wound thing, because I mean, I've done layers and layers and layers and layers, and now I'm still caught up in this whole legal justice case that this barrister is bringing in Scotland. She is asking for pardons for all of the Scottish witches that were burned. And I've just posted details of her podcast around everywhere, because she's asking for everyone to get involved from all countries around the world. And they are just doing it because it was just such a miscarriage of justice. These women, they're not witches, but they don't, they're like, well, if you want to be a witch, and it's just like, it's such an overhang from those times, what happened. And one of the things they were saying was that because these women were burned, there was nothing left of them. So there's no graves, there's no memorials. It's like they never were. And of course, there were some men, I think there was about 20 to 30% men, but it was, mainly women that happened to. And I'm getting really passionate about this. And I'm in the middle of writing my letter to the Danish government, because it is a bit of a thing here, because every midsummer they burn witches on the bonfire, not live ones.
I was like, whoa. No.
They're effigies of witches. And so I have never gone to the midsummer bonfires, because to me that's heartbreaking. And they say, oh, they don't do it, it's not to commemorate the witch burnings, it's because it was tradition to burn a witch to scare witches away. And I still think, yeah, but come on, that's really insensitive. Because, you know, a lot of Danish women died, and horribly, absolutely burnt alive. And it's just like, you know, it really... So that's a bit of a thing.
Yeah, well, good on you for doing that, because you're right. That is in today's day. that is very unacceptable. You know, I mean, there are certain words that we can't even say nowadays. You know, the words that we cannot say because they are no longer politically correct to say them. But then you can have witch effigy burnings. So. No.
Yeah. And it's something that's still very much around in society. You know, it's one of the things they were saying was about Hillary Clinton was called a witch, and, you know, all this sort of thing to sort of pull her down in her campaign, and how it's still used to sort of shut women up really quickly. And it's like, you know, in today's political climate with the Me Too and the, you know, you can't be prejudiced against this person and that person. It's like we're in that as well. You know, it's like it is something that's it's just not acceptable to treat anybody this way, whether they're black or a witch or, you know, gender fluid or whatever. It's like it fits with that whole energy that's going on.
It's funny that like 2 days ago I shared a post by a page that I follow, and she shared like a poem that was written regarding the burning of witches by Nikita Gill, who is a famous poet. The page that posted it is called "She on the Tip of Her Tongue." Do you mind if I read it? Okay.
No.
So it says, "There is witchcraft in our blood. In our bones, we carry the magic that you could not burn away. You see, fire does not eat fire. Your mother would have taught you that if the world hadn't convinced her that despite her body being able to bring life into this world, she is not a magical thing. Maybe the witches you burned were the daughters of something more holy than you could ever handle. So you set them alight for being different, forgetting that even the son of your God was once condemned for being too pure, too beautiful, too different for this world. History devoured your name, but we have never forgotten what you did, witch hunter. You see, fire never forgets. When you burned the witches, you thought what you did was small, but the flames gave birth to ideas, and the ideas set alight souls. For every witch you burned, there are now 1,000 witch women living differently and standing tall. And you may have burned some of us, but you will never destroy us all." And that's by Nikita Gill, to the men who burned witches. I saw that and I was like, wow, that is amazing. And that's right. Fire is also what creates alchemy, just to transform something into something different. So here we all are today.
We are, and we were those women.
We were.
Yeah, and we're back.
and
we're alive.
And we reclaim that word, witch.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. What a beautiful note to end on. Gives you all the warm and tingly. Our ancestors would be so proud.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Well, thank you, everyone, for participating today, commenting and being interactive and just being here with us. And those even watching back on replay, thank you very much.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We really appreciate you all joining in, and it really feels like a sacred circle of magic.
It is. Yeah. So everybody that we missed your comments, we'll go back sometime throughout the day. Rachel and I always try to get back in and see anybody that we missed. So we do appreciate you. And hopefully we will see you again soon.
Yeah, and we'll be back in November, I think, so we can say Happy Halloween.
Yes.
Or Samhain to all of you.
Whatever it is that you celebrate. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.